Electric cars. They have been around for 200 years. They have the power to change the way we use everyday transportation. Now, more than ever, it is extremely important that we switch to renewable energy and stop the use of combustion engines. It is becoming increasingly prevalent that us as humans need to take care of the earth as much as we can due to the increase in global warming. Many companies around the world are beginning to shift their transportation vehicles to all electric due to this. Within the next few decades, we will begin to see a radical shift in the use of electric vehicles, and we already have proof. But first, let us talk about the history of this magnificent creation. Scotland, in the year 1828. Robert Anderson became the first person to successfully create the electric car. It was not until 40 years later his invention became much easier to use. There still was not enough technology back then to make it as good as it is now, but it worked. As for the United States, it was not until 1889 a man from Iowa named William Morrison created the first successful electric vehicle there, which then caused a big interest in this whole idea. Many people in that time believed them to be much easier because they did not put out pollutants and it was much quieter and easier to work. In the beginning of the 1900s, they became increasingly popular all around the United States and everyone wanted to get their hands on them. Unfortunately, around the 1920s, they all began to disappear due to the discovery of Texas oil crude, which happened to be ridiculously cheap. As increased gas stations appeared, it was a no-brainer that combustion engines were all around much easier to use than electric. Fast forward to the 70s, gas prices began to rise, which spiked in interest again in electric vehicles. Everything changed 30 years later when a Silicon Valley startup company called Tesla changed everything. They made the fastest electric car ever seen that went from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds. That was their goal, to make people understand that electric cars are not just boring and slow like a golf cart, and they can be even better than combustion engine vehicles. Many big companies after that, such as Nissan, began their own take on electric cars with the Nissan Leaf. Flash forward to today, Tesla is the most valuable car company in the world at $208 billion. And as we can see here, it was a long journey for electric cars to become as mainstream as they are becoming today. But within time, they will take over everything. If we investigate the prices at which cars will be cheaper, it is easy to say electric cars will become much cheaper overall. In an article by Brian Palmer, he talks about how maintaining and owning an electric vehicle is much cheaper. He says, as electric cars become more common, it is likely that the cost of charging equipment will drop significantly. Fuel savings are not the only benefit that electric vehicles have over internal combustion cars. Most experts agree that the maintenance costs on an electric car are much lower. They have fewer moving parts, fewer fluids to keep them topped up, and they are easier on the brake systems. Having fewer moving parts and mechanics within the vehicle drops the overall chance of needing patience and drop the cost of owning overall without a doubt. Tesla's use of the tablet to work everything in the car, blinkers, radio, temperature, windows, and you can even play games while it is in park. As we look at this generation of people today, most of us grew up with technology, therefore bringing in people and even more that are young. One of the biggest parts of the electric vehicle is the fact that it can drive itself. Yes, you can type in any directions you want to use on the maps the car has installed, and it will drive you all the way there. If this is not futuristic, then I don't know what is. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has said many times before that the more electric vehicles become more popular, then the more combustion engine vehicles will keep falling and losing their value. He says, given how quickly the world is shifting to electric vehicles, a gas diesel vehicle bought today will probably have low resale value. The resale value of gasoline cars is going to drop massively within the next 5 years, and predicted value is going to drop even more drastically. Buying a gasoline car right now is a bad choice. Buying a gasoline car within the next 5 years is going to be just a financial suicide for most people. It is obvious to say that if you're buying a car now and want to keep it long term, an electric vehicle is the way to go, not only financially, but to keep up with how fast the world moves around us. People that own gasoline cars will lose so much more money if they do not make the choice to switch. One of the biggest companies in the world, Amazon, has already started switching their delivery trucks to all electric. In an article by Andrew J. Hawkins, he talks about some of the statistics Amazon has put out on their goal to go all electric. Amazon unveiled its first all-electric delivery van on Thursday. The vehicle, built by electric vehicle startup Rivian, will come with state-of-the-art technology like sensing equipment, an advanced driver assist system. The e-commerce giant says it expects to have 10,000 vans on the road making its deliveries as early as 2022, with a total fleet of 100,000 vehicles expected by 2030. This is a huge push for this company, and they already understand where the future is heading. As we look at their CEO, Jeff Bezos, he knew where the future was heading 20 years ago when he started Amazon due to the internet boom, and now he's the richest man in the world. Now he is heading in the future again. Overall, there is no doubt we will switch to all electric cars. Earth is too valuable to let go of. As time goes on, the market will keep expanding increasingly, and gasoline cars will begin to fade away. Climate change is not something to mess with, and as we keep hearing how much it is affecting the Earth, then we will keep working increasingly to get sustainable energy. Thank you.
Do I get dinged up? Of course I do. I take some injuries. No factor. No factor. Deal with them. You know what? You know what I hear? I hear the clock ticking. That's what I hear. And the end is nigh. And time waits for no man.